All right, welcome to another edition, finally, of the Untitled Movie Podcast. We're back with my illustrious team. As always, Ravy Rave, how you been?
I've been great, thriving in the pandemic. Yeah.
Glowing all your trips and stuff all on the IG, killing us.
Yeah, IG definitely makes my life seem way more glamorous than it actually is. But it's been good to get out of town a little bit.
And Scott, how you been doing, my man?
Man, I can't complain. Raven been putting a lot of pressure for my wife to go start making travel plans.
So she does spending money on trips now because like, well, we haven't been to Big Bear Mountain.
Right.
Who is this new dude just showing me up? I've been around for years. Well, we are doing The Harder They Fall, the Western film 2021 starring Idris Elba, Regina King, Lakeith Stanfield, Jonathan Majors, Delroy Lindo, Zazie Beetz. Basically all the Black people that are doing dope stuff currently.
Yeah.
So initial thoughts, Raven, what'd you think about the film?
Oh, I liked it. I liked it a lot. So if we're doing our 1 to 5 scale, I'd give it a 4. Dope soundtrack, dope cast. Thought the storyline was lacking in some parts, but it was a good story. But we can get into that a little bit later. But there was a lot of stuff that was unbelievable, unpredictable, which is fine for a Western. But there's just a lot of stuff I didn't think was well thought out. But I appreciated the nod to some real people in history, even if it wasn't their true story. It forced me to go look up these people that I'd never heard of. And I think it did that for a lot of other people too. But I would like to see a film that tells their real stories.
All right, Scott.
I give it a 5 just because I'm a Western guy. You really had me at Westerns, and it's long, it's pacing. There's always the conflict, there's always the relationship twist at the end. Those are all things that I really appreciate from that genre of movies, and then to have such accomplished actors, playing these wonderful characters and really representing them in a way that that was both compelling but not necessarily cartoonish. I just really liked it. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna go at a 4 as well with Raven. I loved it a lot. It was a comic book movie. That's the way I kind of look at it, as a comic book movie, but it's a Western. So you got to kind of suspend that and just kind of get into it of that. This ain't gonna be Tombstone or Dances with Wolves or anything like that. But for a Black Western, it was pretty well. You got to think what we had before that. Well, Posse. Mm-hmm. Is that what the only Black Western before this, for real?
Yeah. Wild Wild West.
Right. Wild Wild West. Right. That's self-explanatory with it. All those people, the ill thing was all those people were real people, except for Idris Elba's character was actually a gang name, a full set of people called the Rufus Buck gang. They was basically named themselves after a dude, and they all were a crew of them, but nobody's name was Rufus Buck. It was weird. It was that's just kind of how they roll. But I want to see some more stories, like Raven said, of these different people. And I love they put Bass Reeves in there, who was basically the Lone Ranger. When they made the Lone Rangers based off of him, I remember I got in trouble in 4th grade. I got in trouble a lot at that age, but I had to do a report on James Beckworth, and I learned about him. He was a wild dude. He's got he's stereotypical Black man. He got 8 kids with Native American women that people don't know about. He was a wild boy. James Beckworth was a wild boy. And then Nat Love, dope character as well in his own right. And then Zazie Beetz with Stagecoach Mary. She was the first Black postal stagecoach driver. She took stuff from Montana all the way to the East Coast and back and forth. And she
was put in charge of protecting the U.S. postal system.
Yeah. She wasn't no joke. Yeah. And then you had Bill Pickett, who created steer wrestling. So the event in rodeo steer wrestling where the person jumps down, tries to get the steer down, he created that event. You know what I'm saying? So it was dope to see that in that kind of context. And then Cherokee Kid. Oh no, we did that in the Cherokee Kid movie. If I don't even remember, with Sinbad.
I remember that.
It was with Sinbad and Don Lewis from Different World played his girlfriend.
Oh gosh. Oh,
this
man.
is one of those NBC black movies that will come on, like, you know, like they give us one black NBC Sunday night movie. This is one of those type of films, but it was a good film overall to me. You know, I mean, there are a couple of things I had issues with, but it wasn't. I mean, it was a fun film overall for me. So let's jump in. We get into this. We jump in with Michael Beach is playing everybody's dad in movies that's gonna die.
So, okay, so that's what I was gonna say about the predictability. They need to watch it with the casting. Anytime I see Michael Beach in something, I know he's about to be an asshole. So I knew whoever was killing him killed him because he deserved it. So I expected that. I'm like, okay. Idris Elba killed him for a reason. Let's see what that is. I'm sure it was justified.
And then his wife was the LaWanda Wise from She's Gotta Have It, if y'all remember seeing that TV show on Netflix.
Yep. That
was her from that aspect. But so what did you think? I mean, Michael Beach popped up, was like, okay, he finna die. He died in Aquaman. Wasn't he the dude cheating on his wife in Soul Food too?
Soul Food, yes. He cheated on his wife in there.
So Stella got her groove back.
Yep. How Stella got her groove back.
Oh, so he was in multiple films.
Yeah, no, he fucked the family in Soul Food, and then he fucked his white secretary in Waiting to Exhale. So
yeah, that's
right. He wasn't Waiting to Exhale.
He had to run all his characters were just cheating on his black wife with a white woman or some other race woman. He
was an asshole and Lean on Me. I mean, he's an asshole character.
Dang.
I mean, okay, I can accept that, but I would also say the genre of Westerns, there's always a tragic event, right? I mean, it's always a tragic event. Like a Western starts with something tragic happening.
Yeah.
A plane being robbed, somebody, wrongly shooting someone's family member. So it's always a revenge part of it. So I mean, it seemed heavy-handed for me, but heavy-handed in a good way. Because like, okay, well, look, we're about to go see, we're about to find out who's the badass, who's the one who's owed revenge, blah blah blah. So it didn't bother me per se.
It didn't bother me either, but I will say that casting Michael Beach definitely impacted who I perceived as the villain right away. Like I felt bad for the little boy, but I was like, is whoever killed him really the villain?
What's the reason for this? What'd you do?
Yeah. Yes.
Now, the Idris Elba being the guy that killed him have to play any role in that?
Maybe a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. Well, no, I know that was one of the things that it's come up, like really likable actors. Like Denzel Washington, is really hard for people to root against Denzel Washington in a movie because he's so likable. And so even when he's playing the bad guy, they're like, but really, I like him. So.
Yeah.
That's where Will Smith needs to go next, though, too. If he's going to he's got to be like some despicable person in the film.
Yeah.
I don't know where Will Smith needs to go, but I don't know if that's where.
I mean, that's a whole nother topic. But
we'll probably need some roles that make him seem a little bit more formidable and menacing for a couple reasons.
He needs to go somewhere with. He needs to go there and take some of that entanglement pain out in a role.
That part.
So basically we find out Rufus Black. Well, we find out later on about Rufus Black, but that's the MacGuffin for Jonathan. Rufus Buck. You find out that's his MacGuffin, that Jonathan Major's character, Nat Love, his MacGuffin for this journey and what he was going with. It was, and then right after that we meet I forgot what the dude. I forgot the two characters that played James Beckworth and Bill Pickett. The Bill Pickett guy played in X-Men First Class
and Twilight. Edi Gathegi.
Oh, he did play in Twilight, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he played one of the vampires, right? Like the first one or two, right? He was a French dude, right?
Yeah, Laurent.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was a French dude. So he's been grinding for a while too. And the younger dude he's gonna be somebody to watch out for to play James Beckworth.
Yeah, RJ Cyler is his name. The only other thing I'd seen him in was Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl.
Okay, I saw him in Power Rangers.
Okay.
I like, that's the Blue Ranger. I got an 80-year-old, so we had to, retread back on that.
I really like seeing Deon Cole in the movie.
Yeah.
They introduced his character. He's just sitting there talking to himself, about what he's gonna say to Rufus Buck, and he was just practicing. I thought that was a really great scene.
Deon Cole was that was, and that's what they say about comedians. Comedians having that range to play serious roles. He did way better than I thought he would do.
Yeah, he did a great job.
So what y'all think when Damon Wayans Jr. showed up though in this scene as one with the Pink Gang or whatever they were, the Pink Gang?
It was I mean,
the Pink Bag,
the Pink Bag Gang or something.
I'm not again, comedians like it was a really funny scene. It was a little lighthearted, but also everybody wants to get shot, and you make I thought it was a really great scene because it was a way to introduce what was ultimately going to be pretty serious violence, the level of violence we're expected in a very comedic way. Like you don't care about these characters right now. They kill 6 people, 7 people, whatever was happening there, and you go, oh look, these 6 bodies. You just need to be okay with that because this is what this movie's going to be. We're going to crack a couple of jokes on it because the violence here is really no big deal compared to the rest of the movie. So I really like that scene personally.
Yeah, I appreciated the levity.
Yeah, it did give it levity. It did give it levity. So then we go into and we get to meet Jonathan Majors, Nat Love in a church, murking out one of the other guys. He had a tattoo that was visible and he became a priest, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And that was like kind of weird for me. Like, okay, I mean, I guess he was trying to hide, but
well, it seemed like the introductory dialogue made it seem like he was some kind of shady priest. So
yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense. He's a shady priest.
He did not seem like he had redeemed himself. So
that's really an interesting. That's one of the things like what Westerns is really interesting to me because like from a viewer perspective, it all seems really linear, right? You're introduced to these characters. This person kills this person's family. Now one person wants revenge. How would you feel if someone killed your family? But it never puts in context who those family members were. It's like, or that somebody could have done something that could have been their worst day in their life, but the sum total of their life, what if that guy had become a priest and become the first surgeons and saved 75 fathers and mothers' lives? It's like there's no real weight or balance put into the movie because from a viewing perspective, you're just seeing, okay, they did this terrible thing. This is them getting their revenge back. But there's no context as to what that person was, why they were interacting with the person they killed. I mean, after hearing Rufus Buck's story about what his father did to him, I mean, he may not have shot his mother, but his father kind of deserved it.
And Scott, that was my issue with the movie overall. It's like none of these characters had any context. So I still walked away like not knowing, like, do I really care about who the villain was and who the hero was? Is that line clear?
It was just a winner. You just got a winner.
Yeah.
That hairline looks like that in a minute, has it?
Yeah, I know, right? They didn't be like that in the grip, man. But no, and then so we give you Jonathan Majors, he murks him out. And then, like you said, you already saw in the scene before the level of violence. My camera's missing. The level of violence and everything, with everything kind of jumping off. You're like, oh, this is crazy. Like, this is gonna be a film. And I think you had to do that because I think people coming in, the traditional Western takes sometimes a long time for you to even get to like action. You gotta, it's very heavy dialogue driven. Like, have you ever seen the movie Shane or like The Legend of Liberty Vance, where you don't know what really even happens to like the last 20 minutes in the movie. And we know people now are not gonna sit there through the whole film to figure out this, especially if it's supposed to be a Western and shooting. So them starting off with that heavy action was dope aspect of it. What did y'all think about? Go ahead.
It reminded me a lot of Tarantino. A lot of stuff about this movie did.
That's a good point. I didn't even think that's actually, that's a good, I didn't even think of that. That's a good perspective to look at it with. What did you? I think the person that did the best, and we jump in there with her, is Regina King.
I love her.
I think Regina King stole the show of this film. Stole the show. And then you see her going to break out Rufus from there. And what y'all think about how because it was interesting with that scene is that you didn't know if he was a bad or good guy because the way they made it look with that cavalry when they rescued him. And he said, basically, yeah, y'all been bad dudes this whole time. They just let us get him out off the strength.
I think we knew, like, it didn't really matter what he did compared to the white people on the train. He was a good guy. That's the way I looked at it.
Like this is really it was a black issue. This was an internal thing, not necessarily with the white people.
The train scene was a really great one, particularly how it transitioned from basically a Lakeith Stanfield monologue scene to giving the full context of what's going on once they break Rufus out. I mean, I agree. That was a great scene. I wanted to add one component. You talked about how Regina King stole the show. I agree with that, with the caveat that specifically her interaction with Zazie Beetz. Like, you know, that contrast between them both being really committed and determined, and you know,
and the accent. I don't even know what accent that's supposed to be, but it was like she wasn't.
Somebody
from
said
there.
Like an old school Texas accent.
Yeah, it didn't feel like antiquated either. Like it was like you were putting it on. It felt like that character really spoke like that, not that she was trying to imitate someone speaking like that.
That whole train scene I just loved because of the command for respect, like from everybody. I love it.
What do y'all think about Lakeith in this?
He was talking like he did when he was in Get Out and he was possessed by the white man.
Is he just going to play weird roles the rest of his career?
He's a weird dude, I'm sure. I love him.
I mean, it was Lakeith Stanfield playing a cowboy. Like a sinister cowboy.
I mean, here's the thing. So when he was introduced in the train scene, he's on this dialogue. He's given come up, and so somebody we presume deserves it, on that train. But I hated him at the end of this.
I did too.
They built up all this tension between him and I forgot the character's name, but the young kid about who's faster, this, that, and the other, and we never got a payoff. And he kept doing underhand, we consider to be, not lacking integrity and honorable things, particularly, the gunfight. But it made him a very unlikable character. So I really was rooting for him. I was really searching my head. Who's going to get him his? Because he has to get his. I won't feel satisfied until this guy gets killed. And so, I mean, based on what the assignment was, I think he did a good job. So.
Yeah, I feel like it changed the character, because I looked at him as like a criminal with a code when he was on the train. And then that completely changed when he got into the fight with Jim Beckworth. I'm like, damn, he gave the white people more respect than he did Jim. Like, let him finish the countdown and, do it the right way. I'm with you, Pat. I hated him after that. I absolutely hated him.
So this is the rumors that supposedly Chadwick Boseman was supposed to play that role.
Which one?
Interesting.
Of Lakeith's role as Cherokee Kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but obviously he passed and everything, and because he had a deal with Netflix, and the director's talking about since he already had a deal, 3-picture deal, he had one movie left, and he was going to ask him to jump in this role, and he had passed. He was already sick and he couldn't do it.
Oh wow!
So that'd be. I mean, what do y'all think with that aspect of Chadwick Boseman playing that role instead of Lakeith?
I think Chadwick Boseman would have been was too big of a name for that part.
Oh, you saying that he was too big of a headliner? Yeah,
I mean, he had if we play it out, had he not passed, then he would have had Black Panther sequel. He would have all the MCU stuff coming up. His star was shooting up so fast. I think that role would have been weird to see him in such a big part. The role would have either had to expand, or I don't say big part. It wasn't a big part, but it wasn't a major character as far as the screen time we saw that character. Had real scenes, but nothing pervasive throughout the.
But he did Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and The Five Bloods and didn't have
top billing.
Yeah.
Already,
Wow.
there's like 4 people in that movie, and most of it was him talking to those people, preparing for
Yeah,
that.
but in the Five Bloods, he was like barely in there, like maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I think he would have did it maybe like man, oh, that'd be kind of cool. I'm just gonna be on the set for like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. That'd be something cool for me to do real quick. I'm already licensed to do this with Netflix. All right, let me run it real quick.
Yeah, I think he would have done a good job in the role. I can see him in it.
Especially the role he played in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I was thinking about that kind of way he played that. If he was, it'd have been a different, because Lakeith played it as like a weird kind of idiocentric like cowboy. I think Chadwell may have been a little bit more smoother, of like kind of like a play about it. Like, you know, I mean, I kill people in a player instinct, you know, like I'm kind of smooth.
Yeah, I didn't even like Lakeith didn't seem like a period character to me. He seemed like that you could take that same character and put him in something today.
In the 80s, 90s, 2000s, he was
yeah.
So we after that we transitioned to basically Jonathan Majors comes to the town. I forgot the town's name. Zazie Beetz' bar to come to her town and gets to meet her, and we get to meet. And I'm not sure what. I'm not sure what is the actress's name. I need to look it up real quick. That played the security guard at the front.
Tuffy?
Yes.
Danielle Deadwyler.
Have y'all seen her in anything else?
She was in an episode of Atlanta with Zazie Beetz, and then I read that she was in P Valley, but I never watched that.
Oh, she's in P Valley. P Valley is good too.
Yeah, P Valley should get Oscars and Emmys. Is probably the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, P Valley is good, Raven. You need to watch it.
I watched one episode and couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I didn't think I was either, but it was good. It was,
and then she was in a couple episodes of Watchmen, so it seems like she's acted alongside everybody in this movie, you know, in something else. But she hasn't had any major roles. I think this is probably her first major role.
So we get to meet her at the front door. She's basically, I think she's playing. She's supposed to be based off Kathy Williams, who was like the first Black woman to serve in the United States Army, I believe. Kathy Williams, yeah, I'm looking up. Yeah, she was basically off Kathy Williams, and she basically acted like she was a man to get into the army, and she got popped because she ended up getting like pregnant or something, and then like they had to like do something. It was something around her feminine, and they had to like do something that was like exposing, and she basically got caught because she either had like a period or she was pregnant. It was something along those lines, and they found out she was a woman, but she was a man the whole time. I mean, she thought she was playing a man the whole time to be in the army. But she was a Buffalo soldier, I believe. Okay. So that's why it makes sense that she's kind of got that, more masculine energy. I think that's why they're modeling off her, because she had the buzz cut, the whole, and then it was funny how they flipped it and made her be feminine for the bank robbery later on. But what did you all think about Zazie Beetz, as Stagecoach Mary?
I love her so much. German-born actress, taking on this accent. I love her. I love watching her career grow.
Scott, have you talked to your wife about your arrangement with her for Zazie Beetz?
She went down for it. She was less than enthusiastic. I really like her as Domino in the Deadpool series. That was always a favorite character of mine. So she's did a great job in that. So I've always had a spring crush on her since then.
What y'all think about the chemistry between Jonathan Majors and Zazie Beetz?
It was good, but I liked her chemistry with Regina better.
Yeah, we'll get there in a sec.
I thought his chemistry with Journey was more believable than it was with Zazie.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a series though too, so you got a longer time to really kind of be building that rapport with them. But I can see that. I feel that Zazie Beetz is acting her ass off up in there. Like, it could have been what is my dude from Game of Thrones? And that could have been my guy. And she would have acted her ass off with him too.
Yeah. Was that her singing?
See, I don't know. That was what I was wondering. I don't think that was her.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go out there on a limb and say that.
Okay. I'll have to look it up.
So we basically, last up in our main cast, we meet Delroy Lindo, who plays Bass Reeves, who's one of the baddest men ever in the Old West. They wouldn't let him be a full sheriff because he's black, straight up and down. He only became a deputy marshal, never made sheriff marshal, but caught the most criminals west of the Mississippi. Period. Like he would go out and track you for months and just be tracking you, following you, and then he finally come in and grab you and get you up. Never was shot. Never, nothing happened to him. I don't know, maybe he got, snitches. I don't know what he was, but he was awesome with the way he tracked his criminals. And Delroy Lindo be acting his ass off too.
Everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Him not being nominated for the Five Bloods for best actor was one of the biggest travesties I've seen in a while. And he comes in here and he's fun as Bazzi's the old head coming in for this this team. What'd you think, Scott?
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him have a poor performance. So he's always memorable and scene stealing and everything he does. His delivery, his believability, the level of tension and emotion in those situations, particularly as a Black person, it's so real. It's like that's exactly how this guy would talk in this instance. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind of how flippant he is to somebody being young, if they can just kind of that old man, like, all right, whatever, young blood, like that. It's just all so real. It's just real and authentic. And it's like, so I see him in that particular role specifically, it just all lines up. It's like, yeah, I can believe that's exactly how this would have went had these characters been these people in that time. What
about you, Raven?
What was the question? Sorry.
No, the Delroy Lindo is Paz Reeves.
Oh, he's excellent. He's good in everything he does.
You didn't have to see it. You would just know, like, Delroy Lindo did good in that. I don't even know what movie it is.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some specific scenes since we kind of laid out all the characters, meeting all the characters. All right, let's talk about the Zazie Beetz, Regina King scene. I think that's the best scene in the film.
The fight scene or the scene when they meet?
The scene when they meet and they're talking in the jail.
Okay.
Raven.
I love that story Regina King told.
Yes.
That was another nod, or something else that just made me think of Quentin Tarantino, the monologues through which you learn about the character. I love that story. It actually made me like Regina King even more. That's why I said I just walked away from this movie like not sure who the villains were. Like I like treacherous Trudy.
Oh, what about you, Scott?
Yeah, man, I agree. I mean, that was probably my favorite scene or second favorite scene in the movie. I really liked Zazie's response. How she was still determined not to give up any information. She's like, I'm sorry for your sister's struggle, but you ain't getting nothing else from me. Like all that story he told me, like I can empathize with you, how you hear, but that doesn't change the reasons why we're sitting here and who's gonna give up what about whom, which I thought was just a real kind of defining moment for both characters, in that point in the movie. Mm-hmm. Although I will say this, one of the things I didn't like was it felt contrived to me why Zazie went to that town in the first place.
I agree.
That was one of the. I'm like, what was the plan here?
Because what she sold him as is, look, no one knows that we're together. I can go in there because of this, that, and other. And then the second she walks in town, everybody's like, yeah, you're with the guy who's been trying to hunt him. It's convenient that you showed up in this town. It's like, yeah, that's how anybody would see it.
Like, and then she's like, but we haven't been together in a while. Like, so what? It don't matter.
Right.
And you're gonna try to buy. He owns the whole town, but you're gonna buy the bar.
Right.
Yeah, it was just a stupid plan. I didn't get it.
Now I do want to put a flip on it. What is there a possibility Regina King could have been lying with that story just to try to get her to talk?
I don't think she was lying. I don't. It's on brand for her character.
I just wonder if it was a flip. Like, I'm gonna tell her this story to try to get her to talk, to get empathy.
Why not just torture her?
Torture's not a really effective way to interrogate people.
Yes,
because then they already beat her up already.
But it happens. That happens in movies. Like, I mean, Heath Ledger had the same type of speech, origin story speech, when he was in Batman Returns.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Batman? Yeah, it was Batman Returns or whatever. And then the next time he told the story, it was completely different details. So yeah. they are criminals and murderers, you know. And so it's like, I'm just trying to get the result I want. It doesn't matter, you know, if that's the case. And also, just because your father sent you away to your grandmother's house for being a sociopath, let's be clear, because she murdered that little boy. But and you didn't see your sister again. What does that have to do with all these other people you murdered?
That's what I was thinking. That's why I thought it was a lie. Like, it's like that has nothing to do with nothing. It's a great story, and the way she presented it was awesome. But I was like, what's that got to do with me? You whooping my ass and me sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
Because let's be clear. Let's be clear. The moral of that story would be, she got a undeserved whooping for not protecting her sister, even though she had already murdered the person who knocked her sister down. But the way you responded was too excessive for what happened to your sister. But also, like, being mad at your father now for getting a one whooping that you didn't deserve, because you definitely deserve to get sent away after murdering that little girl. So it's like, that was one kind of maybe questionable punishment you got, but it's not on point.
I thought her point was like that she's ruthless with her loyalty.
Like, okay, good point.
And that's what she was trying to say. I don't know. I don't see a point to her it being a lie. Like, but I will say that was just another one of my issues overall with the script, where it's just like pieces of it are good, but it's not marrying well.
Yeah, I agree. So Rufus Black. We really didn't even touch on Idris Elba.
His name is Rufus Buck.
Rufus Buck. I don't know why I keep on Rufus Black. I don't know why I keep saying that. I just feel like it was Idris Elba being Idris Elba. I mean, that's why it is like his performance was fine, but it was him being Idris Elba.
Yeah, I heard he was still struggling with like COVID and
really
long COVID. So I don't know if that impacted his performance, but just in general, I heard like his mental health and physically, I think he's still struggling.
Oh wow, okay, but it felt like he was just Idris Elba.
It didn't seem like he was actually filming with the crew most of the time. Like, most of the scenes he's in his office. He has like that one scene at the beginning when he's talking to the townspeople. He has the other scene, you know, he gets broken out the jail. But all the rest of the scenes is very much him talking to one person in that room. Him talking to Deon Cole in Deon Cole's office, or it didn't seem like he was necessarily on set with them during the same time, or at least.
That's
I could see that.
I'm thinking now. That's a good point. Because most of the scene, the only one that he was with a lot of characters was in the bar and then outside when they shot the guy that was and Rufus and Deon Cole's character when they were out in the middle of the town when they killed the one guy in the town. Right. It was the Undertaker or something, right?
Something like that.
The funeral owner guy, and he was like, "I don't want to pay nothing." When they killed him, and then he didn't have a lot.
And then on the train, he had that was it.
Wow, and then the train, but that was, I mean, you could easily saw that makes sense if that was it, but it was just like okay, he didn't do bad, but it was just like he was just there.
He was not the best performer,
No, and for him to be like the big boss, it didn't feel like that was like worthy of big boss. It felt more, you felt it more when Lakeith died. Of like, man, that was the bad guy.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he didn't actually do, aside from, you know, at the beginning when he killed it turns out to be his father, he didn't actually do anything that was too shitty. You know, he killed some random townsperson that, you know, we don't necessarily know about, but I mean, you know, I don't know. Maybe the guy was like going home beating his wife. Like, I don't know who the guy was. So
yeah, we don't know anything about it.
Horrible.
And it was for the greater good. He's trying to build this town for Black people.
And that's where I was having a problem with. I need to know who's the bad guy in the Western. Because I was like, Rufus ain't that bad. He trying to save us.
What I got was that Deon Cole was selling the town's rights to outside developers, and he needed money to go buy the town's rights back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this town not gonna be Black because we wanted to get our revenge. Could we have waited till we extorted this money first, then got the town back, then you can get your revenge?
And why'd you have to burn all the money?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was stupid.
Money, like if you're gonna blow it up, don't put all the money in there. Put like some money on top, and then some paper on the bottom. Like, why is all the money in the wagon with the actual dynamite?
All right,
Can we back up to the robbery too? Like, why was that bank robbery so easy?
in an all-white town?
Right.
As soon as you ride in, the KKK is supposed to ride out from the side. Like, it should be like immediate, like the police. Like, woo, like, oh, okay. Well, then it'd have been different if they'd have came in. It'd have been interesting. They came in looking like they butlers or something, or some kind of like domestic, like, well, we here working with
servants.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, okay, they ain't doing nothing, you know. But it was fun. They said, yes, white town, all white, and everything was white there. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. I just went to the Utah Salt Flats in September, and that's exactly what it looks like. Like, everything is just white like that. Like, it's all salt.
People.
There are no people out there, though.
But the people that are there are white.
You said you were in Utah. Go, yeah, that kind of sounds like it could have been Utah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they filmed that scene there, because it looks exactly like it.
Wow, I need to look that up. That'd be interesting to figure out. So all these different characters are coming together. Before we talk about the ending, what did you dislike about the film?
The disjointed script. I just felt like the characters could have been better developed in a way that didn't make the movie longer. Yeah, it's just some of the segments of the story were just like way too simple and too easy.
It felt real 80s, 90s-ish type of like script.
It felt lazy.
Yeah. All right, what about you, Scott?
So what I didn't like was the pacing. It didn't have the pacing of a Western. It looked like a Western, and they talked like they were in the West, but it didn't have to have that real pacing. It was, like you said before, more like a comic book movie or action movie. There's a lot of explosions, and there's a bank robbery, and a jailbreak, and a gunfight. You know, all these things are happening, and that's fine. But a lot of part of Westerns and things I like is the pacing, is the buildup. You know, and then, which I think they only really perfectly nailed between Lakeith Stanfield's character and was it RJ?
That played James Beckworth.
Yeah, exactly. That was the only tension they really built effectively, for me at least, during the movie.
I agree.
Oh, and then I was robbed of it at the end when he doesn't get the actual count, you know. And so those were the types of dynamics that I usually like in Westerns, and I think that's the mark that the story missed with me personally.
Yeah, it was, to me, I mean, that's just me as being a history dude. I didn't like that they made James Beckworth the youngest guy when he would have been the oldest guy of all of them. He like died like the late 1700s. So like, how is he the youngest character in, you know, historically? I mean, the oldest character historically, but y'all have him as the youngest person, even though he was a wild boy. So maybe that's why they maybe made him the younger person. But also one thing that I think they could have made, a part of me feels like they should have made Regina King the main villain.
Well, it seems like they left room for her to be.
Yeah. I mean, but maybe that's what it was, of like, she's going to come and get the revenge, or, you know, keep up his thing. Because when her character kind of moved on, like, she's not dead.
Yeah.
You know,
they didn't. I always feel like if they don't show them die, they're not dead.
Yeah. Until we see a body drop, it ain't dead. And it was like, did she just hit her with like something like that? Ain't
I think she hit her with the back of that gun or something. But
yeah.
See, if I was, I would like beat somebody until their brains were out of their skull. Like, I'm not just gonna hit once and start screaming. And
right now, man, we all good. You take care of that. Yeah, I took care of it. She did.
And then drop the weapon right at their side so they can come attack you with it. No.
And they really fought that and hit each other like that. We're talking about bruises, concussions,
brain damage.
Yeah, they really, at that fight, in a movie, that fight, yeah, you're right, you walk away. They fought for it felt like 20 minutes. Like, that's like a professional fight.
Yeah.
It's a professional fight. They're hitting people with objects. Have you ever been hit with a 2x4? Like, your head breaking 2x4 and all these things, like, that would hurt a lot. Like,
but I do like their fight scene though.
Oh, I loved it. That's what I was just gonna say. I thought where they filmed it was beautiful. And after working on my first horror film, shameless plug, with Paul, last October, like, that choreography is hard as hell.
Really?
and like making sure the camera is in the right place and making it look cool and realistic and in a way that doesn't injure people. I mean, that's really hard to pull off. And I thought it was really, really great.
Yeah, I just always think about it. It's like, man, they could have made Regina King the villain. But maybe if they get a second one, that'd be dope for her to be the villain. Because she was, I want to know like more about her upbringing. Like, how did she get with Rufus and become this? Because she was basically running the gang basically while he was locked up, it feels like.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they left their relationship, I think at least, open to interpretation. Because my mom even asked, like, are they brother and sister? Are they friends? She loves him. He doesn't love her. Like, what is this relationship here? And I like that they didn't need to have two romantic storylines.
Right. It was just, we worked together. We was in a gang together. We got you. Like, we gonna get you out. I don't have to be messing with you to get you out.
Right. The loyalty is based on something else.
All right. Finally, what did y'all think about the ending? The film. Scott.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, it became predictable. It became predictable when he asked to see the mark on his head. I go, there's no reason he would have done that if there wasn't something specific about this boy. He kills her father with no issue, and so I couldn't tell. You know, I didn't know if it was going to be actually a brother, but I knew that there was some more intimate relationship. I thought for a moment that maybe he was going to say, "I'm your real father."
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
What he did was that he stole my wife from me, and you were pregnant with my kid. That's where I thought it was going to go. And he started telling the story about seeking revenge on his dad. And I go, "Oh, that's clearly what this is about."
Yeah. I told, like, from the beginning, I knew Michael Beach had to do something. So I was just waiting to understand.
She was waiting for
the
shoe to drop.
Yeah, but I didn't with the age, I didn't expect that was going to be his brother. I thought maybe uncle or dad, like something like that, some other familial relationship. But I thought it was good. I thought it wrapped it up really well.
Do you think that? I think it was kind of a scapegoat of an ending, but it's fine. It's whatever. I just feel like for you going through all this and then to find out your brother, and he wanted you to kill him, I would think it would need to be. I don't know. I just feel like it didn't feel like Rufus was almost doing everything to be killed.
Yeah. Well, I think he had a vision, and once he assessed what happened in the town and all his whole gang being destroyed, he's like, okay, well, I can't save this town. Whatever my vision for this town is over. I might as well, since I can't get my vision, I might as well, let his revenge, be in full context. Now this is just me personally. When we get these type of movies, particularly when we start talking about familial Black people, like the same thing happens in Black Panther. It actually does, so brothers kill each other, and then the cousins start killing each other. I'm always expecting more of a redemption. I'm always expecting, let's squash this.
Partner up, yeah.
Exactly. I was a little surprised that Jonathan Major's characters actually killed him anyway. Or at least I wasn't rooting for that outcome. But
you look for Fast and the Furious, where all these random people start becoming friends, because of whatever.
Not friends, but I don't want to see you again, or you got to leave town, or this, that, and the other. I mean, they didn't have to necessarily become, besties, but I mean, killing your brother is still killing your brother. Like, that's a big move. How you just ride on from that? Like, I hated this guy my whole life. It turns out he's my brother, and he had a legitimate reason that would be for my father. It's like, I don't like the notion that we kill our family members so easily.
Yeah, or we need to have a discussion. Like, I need to put you in this jail and we need to talk or something. Like, I need to sort this out. I need to go holler at Zazie Beetz and lay on her for a minute and figure this all out, and I'll let you know how I feel in the morning. I just can't make these rash decisions.
And then he took his name. So that made even less sense. That was another inconsistency for Idris for me too. Like, why not just kill him if he was going to be that ruthless? The marking him is something else that reminded me of Tarantino with the cross on his forehead. Reminded me of Inglourious Basterds. But it was like, he knew that he was going to come find him and he wanted to know who he was when he found him. But what was your intention after that? Do you want your brother to murder you? Like, what was his plan with this?
Yeah, because you went through a lot to try to get him not to catch you.
Yeah.
You know, it's at the end of the day, it's like, man, you know what? You know, you go ahead and kill me, man. It's all good. You took out my old lady. You took out my boys.
Took my
You know,
money.
what's the point?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and he had a lot of people down with him. Like
Yeah.
he had an army of people like down with him.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost like like almost with Regina King. I want to see did she recruit all these people? Because I mean, he'd been in the jail for a minute. How these cats stay down this whole time?
Mm-hmm.
And y'all outsourcing to other gangs? Like you got outsourcing gangs? Like it's like PepsiCo. We own Frito-Lay, we own all these different stuff, but we all under the Pepsi logo.
Like because when they do that earlier scene with the Scarlet Bag gang, it's like, well, oh, you know, money you taking? This is Rufus money. Well, how would he know what the percentages are from a bank robbery? Like you guys ran in there, some tellers just threw money in a bag, and then you guys run out with bags in here shooting and riding out of town. No one knows exact amount here. How does he know exactly what 15% is?
There's not an accounting system. Like, but you know what? I know they got 30,000 at that bank.
Right.
You know.
Something else I'll say I really appreciated about the movie, and the writer Jeymes Samuel said he was intentional about this, was that the N-word was never used. Like not by the white people, not by the black people. I really appreciated that. And then one thing I just read that I did not know is that Jeymes Samuel is Seal's little brother.
You said who now?
Seal. He's Seal's little brother who sang.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so he had one or two songs in the movie.
Seal the singer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Who knew that?
Yeah, I just read it. I was like, oh, that's interesting. No wonder Seal is on the soundtrack. I did know Jeymes Samuel was British, but yeah, I didn't know that was his brother.
Boy, that's 6 degrees separation, boy.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that is Seal's brother. That is crazy. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. All right, let's wrap it up.
That one right there.
You said what now?
You have to rap on that tidbit. Like, what we gonna follow that?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, hey, everybody, give out where they can be hit up at. I was ending it there.
Yeah, I mean, hit me up on IG, quote the Ray Bay. But I would also like to say, shout out to Netflix on putting out some really good Black movies.
Yes.
That are not about slavery. Thank you. So I'll say I just watched The Passing this week too, which I thought was worth watching.
Hold on, it's The Passing. What is that?
Or it's just called Passing. Sorry, not The Passing.
I've seen the previews for that. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, with Tessa Thompson and Ruth Negga. And Ruth Negga is living as a white person married to Alexander Skarsgård. Very interesting. We can possibly review that one next. But that's also a Netflix produced movie. And yeah,
because me and Teddy always talk about when we see somebody, you be like, you pass it. Like now, even like, you pass it, huh? It's all good. I can see. Yeah. I see you.
Yeah.
I have a really good friend whose wife. I mean, we were both groomsmen, and his wife was a bridesmaid in our wedding. I thought she was passing when I met her. Like,
really?
Are you talking about Jackie?
I was gonna say her.
Jackie was black.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
I mean, she got blonde hair and blue eyes, but you can still tell she's black.
No, that wasn't. I'm talking about people I've seen passing. Like, were you like, nah, man? Like, yeah.
Like Rachel Dolezal?
No, I'm talking about. Rachel Dolezal was one of them, but Rachel Dolezal at least was rocking the braids and stuff. Like, that's really going out the way.
What'd you say, Scott?
Scott, you on mute, I think. Speak up a little bit, Scott.
I said I'll finish my story off the internet.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, make sure y'all check us out on different platforms. You see them in the description notes. And thank y'all for listening. We'll be back soon. Let's do passing. I know Raven looks really excited about that. It must be that good. So I'm about to peep it this weekend.
It's an interesting story to talk about. I don't know if it's that great of a movie, but we can talk about it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all soon. Peace.
Peace.